There's nobody here, Zoe. It's just me. Okay, go lay down. Do you want me to move that out of your way? Oh, you're such a little diva. The blanket was in her way. This year, I'm doing a low-key no-buy/low-buy year. To be successful at a low-buy or a no-buy year, you need to know your why. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about my why, and I think this will help you maybe to clarify if you are trying to do a low-buy or a no-buy year, maybe give you things to think about and what's the bigger picture of why you wanna do a low-buy year. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Robin, and I am a woman over 50 who typically does videos about beauty, skincare, fashion for women in my age group and older because we have different needs than the youngins. But this year, I have a slight pivot because I am really doing a low-key no-buy year. And what do I mean by that? Well, I haven't set like hard and fast parameters like I did for my 2023 no-buy year, but I know that there's things that I want to accomplish. And wanting to accomplish different goals in your life has to start with a why. Why you want to do a low-buy year. Without a why, without a tangible why, it's very easy to make excuses to buy just this one thing. Have you ever found yourself thinking, this product will solve all of my problems? Maybe it's a skincare product promising you more youthful skin in 30 days. Maybe it's a supplement that you're seeing advertised all over that's supposed to do all these wonderful things for you. And it'll only cost $49.95, and you can make it in easy monthly installments on Affirm. It's very easy to make an excuse to buy just this one thing. Or maybe it's an experience, like concert tickets, and you think, oh, if I just go to this one concert, I'm not gonna want anything else for the rest of the year. Without a concrete why, it's really easy to talk ourselves out of investing into our future selves. Because let's face it, that future person doesn't exist yet. So it's easy to dismiss her. But knowing your real why can prevent you from making all of those little purchases that are just this one little thing, which in my experience has often turned into a cascade of buying things that I've been saving for later when I sort of get to a breaking point and I say, I'm just gonna buy these things. And before I know it, I've spent hundreds of dollars. So your why is going to be linked directly to your core values. And it's a good idea to sit down and think about what your core values are and the things that matter the most to you so that you can come up with your why. For me, one of my core values is peace. Having a peaceful, restful home to come home to. After being out in that crazy world, I want a peaceful abode to come home to. But my home is over 40 years old and it needs repairs and renovation. And quite frankly, these have been on hold for a long time. This past summer, we did replace our roof and we had to replace our drainage field. Two very unsexy things to have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on. And so those things, because we weren't necessarily prepared, we hadn't saved up for the future, we had to put on an equity line of credit. And so I'm working really hard to pay those off. But on top of that, we have other things that we need to do in this home. When we moved into this home over 20 years ago, we planned to renovate the kitchen within the first couple of years, and it still hasn't happened. I mean, at this point, we would be needing to probably renovate again because we've lived here over 22 years. We also need to renovate our guest bathroom. So taking care of my home is really important to me because I want to take care of the place that is taking care of me. This is my peaceful place in the world. I love my home. It's very humble. It's a very humble home, but it's my home and I want to take care of it. And I've realized that every dollar that I've put towards impulse spending is a dollar that I could have invested into making my home more safe, comfortable, beautiful, more functional, and ultimately more peaceful. I want to take care of the space that takes care of me. And every time we talk ourselves into buying these little things that aren't necessary, that we think don't add up, but they ultimately do add up to hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars every month, we're chipping away at our trust in ourselves even. Because we're telling ourselves that this is what's important, but our actions are disproving what we're telling ourselves. So then we're losing trust in our own decision-making abilities. And that also leads to, in my case, anxiety and stress. I don't know about you, but whenever I have sort of pushed that go button on purchasing all those little things that I have been wanting and I just save them for later, but then sometimes I just go ahead and buy them because I'm already feeling anxious. Maybe, you know, it's sort of linked to, it's sort of like a circle, you know, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's like you're feeling anxious because you're stressed out, and then you do this online shopping because in the moment you get a little dopamine hit and it makes you feel a little better. But then ultimately, even before it has arrived, I can start feeling that little bit of anxiety building up, and then I get it, and then, you know, maybe I feel a little dopamine hit when it comes in the mail, when that box comes. But then as soon as I see how much I've spent on my credit card, that anxiety is building all over again. And then I sort of feel like I'm so anxious and I want to avoid thinking about that credit card bill. And I would go back and maybe buy more things. And it's just sort of like this vicious cycle of, I would say, a mild shopping addiction. I've never really thought that I had a shopping addiction, but I could feel in certain times of my life, and even in certain times last year, that I was starting to get anxious when I couldn't buy something, or when I thought I couldn't buy something, or that there was something that I wanted and I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to get it, that it would sell out, or I wanted it so desperately because it was going to solve this certain problem that I have. But getting back to core values, my second why is related to my core value of adventure, which is the name of this channel, Adventures with Robin. I started this channel 10 years ago, almost exactly, like it was around this time of year, 10 years ago. And I didn't really know what this channel was going to be about. And the reason why I named it that is because adventure is a big core value of mine. Even my graduating collection, I'm a fashion designer, and our graduating collection that we had to make and put on a fashion show was called Spirit of Adventure. And that has always been a really big core value of mine. And for me, travel is sort of the ultimate way to adventure in this life. And ever since my aunt took me on a trip when I was 17 years old to Scandinavia, we went to Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, and we went to Russia. And ever since that trip when I was 17 years old, I got the bug to travel. All of the memories and experiences that I've had on my travels are something very precious to me and something that no one can take from me. They're my memories, they're my experiences, my way of sometimes getting to see the world in a different way, changing my perspective on things. And you know, they've really sustained me through difficult times in my life to think about all of the travels that I've had. To me, it's not about like checking off destinations on a list, although I do have a list of a lot of places I want to go. It's about making all of those memories and seeing new things and gaining a new perspective. Sometimes it really helps you to gain perspective on your life, to reevaluate what's important to you. I find that always happens when I travel. It also makes you feel so alive and connected to the world when you travel, and realizing that, especially if you go to a place like I went to Egypt, and seeing that, you know, people love their families, they love their kids, they work hard, they're just, you know, in most cases, when you go to places like when I went to Russia, that's even a better example, because at that time, excuse me, I've got to get comfortable here. At that time, the Iron Curtain was still up and alive, and Gorbachev was the president of that country. But I got to see, you know, that this was, you know, during the Cold War, and that these people were supposed to be, you know, Russia was our enemy. And I got to see the real people of Russia and the real circumstances of Russia. And there was a lot of real poverty happening there. It really reframed my mind about what I hear on the news and what I think about a country or a group of people by traveling. And this year, my husband and I really want to take a trip to Alaska. And that trip, to me, is choosing experiences over things. I don't want more stuff in my closet. I want memories that I can carry with me for the rest of my life. My third why is connected to what is probably my greatest core value, the thing that is the most important to me, and that's freedom. That's freedom to travel, freedom to say yes to experiences, freedom over my time, freedom to do the things that I want to do and not have to answer to anybody else. And that freedom is directly related to one of my biggest goals of early retirement. I'm not there yet. It's gonna be a few more years. I know that by doing this low-key, no-buy, that's gonna get me to that goal much quicker. And it's putting my core values into action. Saving now so that I can have freedom later. Letting go of short-term dopamine so that I can build long-term peace. And this isn't about never buying anything ever again, because I will. I still might buy some makeup this year that I don't necessarily need, but I might buy it for reviewing on this channel. And there might be other things that I choose to buy as well. But everything is going to be bought with intention. So it's not about not buying things, it's about asking better questions. Like, does this support the life that I'm trying to build? Does this bring value? Or is this just a distraction? I think a lot of things that I bought last year were a distraction from how I was actually feeling. So this low-key no-buy, as I'm calling it, is not about deprivation, it's about alignment. Aligning to my values so that I can build the life that I want. More experiences, more freedom. Because having a lot of stuff, having a lot of clutter, can feel more restrictive. It's more stuff to take care of. I heard somebody use the phrase the other day as being a stuff manager. I don't want to be a stuff manager, and I'm sure you don't either. It's sort of an anchor weighing you down, keeping you stuck in the life that you're in by having too much stuff. Whereas having less and making intentional, thoughtful purchases is freedom. And if you're watching this and feeling a little tug that maybe there's something in your life that needs a little or maybe a major shift, this doesn't have to look like a no-buy year. This could simply be a no-buy month, a no-buy week, or maybe it's just taking a pause before you hit that buy button or add that last-minute item to the cart. They really get you at the checkout aisles, especially at Sephora. I'd love to know what your why would be if you feel like sharing with me. And let me know what you're saving for, what you're making space for this year. This is going to be a series on my channel, and in an upcoming video, I'm going to share how I'm tracking my low-key no-buy and give you tips that will also help you. If you're looking to spend less this year and focus on what really matters, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this and hit that notification bell. And also don't forget to give this a like and check out this video where I gave tips for how to do a no-buy year, and I made that right after I finished my first no-buy year. Well, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and until next time, you're doing great.